How's it, guys? Today I'm going to show you a workflow to work with 4K footage in Final Cut Pro 7. Alright, now what the great thing about 4K footage is that it comes out really nice shots, but the problem is it can take up huge amounts of file space on your computer, and also in terms of editing it can cause your Final Cut Pro project to bomb out. So the best solution is to get it into a small codec and then make a cut of your footage and then reconnect the 4K footage later for your output. Alright, now let's begin. Now I have shot some footage on my iPhone of my dog. Right, I use image capture, but you can use Apple Photos as well, but I'm going to use image capture. I want to import all, and I'm going to put it in this folder that I've created on the desktop called dog, and put it in the folder 4K footage. Choose. Let me look into the folder on the desktop, 4K footage. Yeah, it's all in. Alright, how do I know it's 4K footage though? Well, first of all, you can see by the quality of the image on a full screen. I can also go Window, Show Movie Inspector, and I can see that it's H.264 codec and the dimensions are 4K 380/40 by 1260. Now bear in mind, these are only 7 clips. This could actually work fine in Final Cut Pro if I don't convert, because it's only a small amount of files. But if you have had to create a long holiday video or a video of you diving on your GoPro, it'll be quite a lot of footage and it could take up a huge amount of space. So I'm just showing you 7 clips as an example of how I use my workflow. Let's begin converting them. Now I'm going to open this software called MPEG Streamclip. List, batch list, add files, 4K footage, and I want to add all of these to the batch. Export to QuickTime. I don't want to join them all as one, I want them all separate. Right. Then my output folder, I'm going to choose dog, and the folder that I've created called proxy. Only thing I want to change is the codec. Now the current codec of this footage is H.264. Right, the best one to work with is probably Apple ProRes 422 and the good output as well, but the file is enormous. So what I usually would to work with is Apple ProRes 422 proxy. And you can change the quality to about 40% as long as you can still see your clip. I'm not going to change the frame size, I'm going to keep it unscaled. The reason being, if I change it to 920 by 1080, first of all, the conversion is going to take a much longer. But if I add a title and the dimensions are different, when I reconnect the footage to the real dimensions, it might look different on the reconnected footage than it would on the 920 by 1080 footage. So change your codec, but don't change your dimensions. Keep it unscaled. We are working with progressive. Only television works with interlaced footage because it's cheaper to run that way. So I'm going to deselect this, and I'm going to say 30 frames a second. Alright, now we're going to add this to the batch. And go. Alright, now this thing is finally converted. Alright, now your 4K footage, alright, now H.264 is a codec, it's a good output, but it's not a good input. Alright, if you want to edit and you want to send it to grading software and After Effects software, it's better to convert this footage to Apple ProRes 422. However, it won't really give you problems if you do choose to edit on H.264, especially for a small clip like this. But a good workflow would to make this footage Apple ProRes. Alright, add files. Now I'm going to go back to dog, 4K footage, add all this. Go back to the output folder, and I'm going to say put it into the Apple ProRes. Select, keep the frame unscaled, and I'm just going to change this to 422 HQ and make it 100%, because when this is reconnected, I want the full quality of this footage to be in. All right, let's add it to the batch. All right, that has been complete. All right, now I'm going to close this, and as you can see, I've got Apple ProRes here and proxy. These are the two I'm going to work with. As you can see, the difference in size. This is 1 gig in size alone, only a 9-second clip, and this proxy footage is only 205 megs in size. All right, let's go FCP project, and I've just called it dog. Let me open it. All right, I'm going to say new bin first, sorry, just so I know, and I'm going to say proxy footage. Here's the sequence, I'm going to put it in here. All right, now I want to get my proxy footage into Final Cut Pro. So I'm going to say open this, import files, and I'm going to say proxy, and I'm going to select all of this and say choose. All right, now my proxy footage is in. I wouldn't recommend renaming your original media files because it can cause trouble if you're going to work on After Effects and Apple Color or DaVinci Resolve. But if you do rename your footage, rename all of it before you even start the MPEG Stream clip process. I usually keep all my clips the same name as they originally were recorded. But on Final Cut Pro, you can rename them. Now, because they were taken in chronological order, when I rename, I'm going to start by saying 001 dog, and I drag one clip onto the timeline, and it will ask me, do I want the sequence to match the sequence settings of my clip? I'm going to say yes. Now I'm ready to edit my sequence. Let's go. Now, as you can see, I finally finished my edit, and I've just done a very, very basic thing here. I'm going to show you what I have put together. Let's view it full frame. If you want to do that, you go video, external all frames, and hit the space bar. Not only have I cut this, I've added music, I've mixed the audio, balanced the audio, and I have also added a slight grade to all the shots. Not the best grade, but it's just a basic one just to keep the luminance levels right. I want to reconnect to my 4K footage, and I want to put that on YouTube and social media. So let's begin that process. First of all, let's rename our sequence. And I'm going to say dog proxy. All right. Now let's quit Final Cut Pro and say yes. All right. Go back to our folder, FCP project. All right. And this is our project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this project to dog proxy. And I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to rename this one to 4K. So I know that's my proxy, and this one is going to be the 4K. In case I make a mistake, I can always go back. Now, I'm going to click on the 4K footage. Let Final Cut Pro open. I want to reconnect this, all right? So what I'm going to do is I want to open this folder, all right? Okay, and select and go to this and say reconnect media. So we're going to say add search location, all right? Desktop, dog, and Apple ProRes 422. That's the 4K codec we want. And I'm going to say choose. All right. Now I'm going to click the search button, and it's in this folder. And it's once it searches one, it's going to search for all of them. And I'm going to say choose. And I'm going to say connect. All right. How do I know all this has been reconnected to the 4K footage? Well, I have to render, because remember, my sequence over here was set for proxy, not Apple ProRes 4K footage. So I'm going to cancel that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to say new sequence. Okay, and I'm going to call it dog 4K. And I'm going to put it in the sequences. All right. I'm going to import files. Where's my dog? Apple ProRes, and take the Apple ProRes footage. Now, in my new sequence that I created, I'm going to open it, and I'm going to take this 4K footage on, and I'm going to say yes. So now this footage is all matched. Now we go to dog proxy. I'm going to say Command C and Command paste V. Now I'm going to render this. The reason it still has to render though is because it's still got color grading and title filters that have to be rendered as well. Now all my footage has been reconnected and I now have a 4K sequence. But now to get it from Final Cut Pro into either a DVD or YouTube, I'm going to start by doing what I usually do, and I'm going to say File, Export, QuickTime Movie, and I'm going to say Current Settings. Then I would just say Save. What I've created here is on my timeline already, so I can load MPEG Stream Clip, and I'm going to put the footage into MPEG Stream Clip, and I'm going to say File, Export to QuickTime. Alright. Now I want to choose a different codec. I want to choose H.264 because this is going to YouTube. Alright. And I want to keep the dimensions unscaled because I want it to be 4K. Alright. Now let's make our movie. Alright. Now the process is complete. Alright. As you can see, now I've got one for YouTube. Alright. So, and the dimensions are still 4K, and the only difference is the codec is H.264. Anyway, now I've got a YouTube export, and as you can see it's only 796 megs, whereas the Apple Quad 4 was 2.35 gigs. Now I'm ready to put it on YouTube. So I'm going to go open Safari here. Dog, exports, YouTube. Choose. Now, before I finish here, on Final Cut Pro, you can say File, Share, and YouTube. But if you look here, your dimensions are going to be 1280 by 720. That's an HD footage. We want 4K. So I recommend you don't, if you want your footage to be in 4K after Final Cut Pro, don't use the sharing option. Rather do it the way I showed you just now. Alright, now we just have to wait for this to upload, and I'm going to check if it's in 4K. Let's not call it dog, let's call it meat Sam. Publish. Alright, this could take a long time to upload, but once it's uploaded we can check if it's going to play as 4K footage. And that's how you reconnect your media from proxy to 4K footage. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you very much.